depths of the unknown where shadows creep. The veil between worlds is thin and secrets sleep. Whispers in the dark they call.
All right, strap yourselves in, because today we're going deep on something truly bizarre.
Oh, yeah.
Lovecraftian magic.
Sounds spooky.
It is. So we've got a bunch of listener questions about some excerpts from a grimoire called Volubilis Ex Chaosium.
Oh, okay.
And this thing claims to be a practical guide to conjuring up some of Lovecraft's most terrifying creations.
Oh, so this is more than just like spooky spells and incantations, right?
Oh, yeah.
This author's making a pretty big claim that Lovecraft wasn't just writing fiction.
Okay.
He was actually like channeling real encounters
Wow.
with cosmic entities through his work.
So you're telling me this isn't just some like Halloween-themed spell book.
Yep.
This is presented as like a legit system of magic
Right.
based on real experiences.
Yeah. I mean, color me intrigued,
Yeah.
but also maybe a little terrified.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But the book gets even more unsettling when it starts connecting Lovecraft's fictional locations to actual places and events in our world,
Give me an example.
like the lost city of Irem.
Irem,
Yeah, which Lovecraft wrote about in 1921.
1921. Okay.
But didn't archaeologists actually discover Irem
Really?
in the Arabian desert back in the 90s?
I think I remember reading about that.
Yeah.
That's wild. And I think the descriptions from Lovecraft's stories
I know.
were eerily similar to what they found.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. And what about that underwater sound?
Oh, you mean the one they picked up in 97?
Yeah. Near where Lovecraft placed the sunken city of Arlay.
Right.
It was like way louder than any known sea creature, and scientists could never figure out what it was.
So wait, are you trying to tell me that Lovecraft was some kind of prophet? Like, his fiction was actually a glimpse into some, like, hidden reality.
I mean, it's a compelling thought.
Yeah.
Gets you thinking about the line between fiction and reality, you know?
Yeah.
Lovecraft's work, as fantastical as it is, seems to resonate with something ancient and primal, something that maybe goes beyond, just pure imagination.
Okay, so we've got this potential link between Lovecraft stories and, like, actual reality.
Yeah.
But what about the magic itself?
Right.
What does it actually look like to practice Lovecraftian magic according to this grimoire?
Well, it's like this blend of traditional ceremonial magic, the kind of stuff you might find in any other grimoire,
Right.
but with this like dark Lovecraftian element woven throughout.
Okay.
For starters, there are some specific tools involved.
Like what?
Well, each of them has a specific symbolic significance.
Okay, so, like, spooky props. Give me the details.
All right. So there's this thing called the Mirror of Azathoth.
Ooh, Mirror of Azathoth.
Yeah. It's described as like a worn ancient mirror, and it's used to peer into the chaotic realms of the old one.
Oh, no thank you. I can only imagine what you'd see staring back at you from that thing.
Right.
Okay, what else? What else is there?
All right. So there's the Wand of Nerlathotep.
Ooh.
That's crafted from ebony, and it represents the magician's will, but it's channeled through something called the
Through what?
spaces between.
Okay, that sounds pretty ominous.
Yeah.
There's got to be more, right? There can't just be like a wand and a mirror.
Well, there's also the Goblet of Shub-Niggurath.
The Goblet of Shub-Niggurath.
Yeah, and that's this gnarled wooden goblet used for rituals and absorbing the power of this whole tradition.
Okay, and it's not just symbolic, right?
No.
The grimoire actually talks about using blood magic as a way to, like, attract the attention of these old ones.
Right, exactly.
Blood magic. Okay, now we're getting into some seriously dark territory.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, like, having a casual chat with these entities, right? There's something bigger going on here.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. The whole point of this magic, according to the grimoire, is to become like the old ones yourself.
So powerful.
Powerful.
And unbound by human morality.
Exactly.
That's fascinating and utterly terrifying.
Yeah.
So how would someone actually go about, like, doing this magic? Do you just conjure up Cthulhu in your living room?
No. It's not that simple.
Okay.
The grimoire is really big on hierarchy.
Okay.
You don't just go straight to the top.
Right.
You've got to go through intermediaries, entities like Yog-Sothoth.
Yog-Sothoth. That's that thing Lovecraft described as like the gatekeeper.
Right. A formless, transdimensional being that's basically the gateway to the other old ones.
So you're saying, like, if you want to get to Cthulhu,
Yeah.
you got to go through Yog-Sothoth first.
You got it.
Okay. I'm starting to get the picture here.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's another entity you mentioned, right? Nyarlathotep.
Oh, right.
The messenger.
The messenger.
Who bridges the gap between our world and the realms of the old ones.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you connect with these intermediaries?
Yeah.
Is there like a secret handshake, special code?
Not quite, but the book does outline this pretty intense initiation ritual for Nyarlathotep.
And you said it was intense.
Very intense.
Like what? Give me the spooky details.
We're talking like solitude, darkness, and you guessed it.
More blood rituals.
More blood rituals.
Sensing a theme here.
It's a common thread.
Yeah. Okay. So assuming you were brave or foolish enough to actually go through with this.
Right.
The book says you can then use like specific evocations to contact individual old ones through these intermediaries.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like a cosmic phone tree. You call Yog-Sothoth, who connects you to Nyarlathotep, who then like patches you through to Cthulhu.
Yeah, you could think of it that way, although I doubt it's quite as simple as dialing a number.
Good point, good point.
All right.
So let's talk about these individual old ones for a second.
Okay.
Who are the big players here?
Yeah.
And what kind of power are we dealing with?
I mean, obviously there's Cthulhu, the master of dreams and illusions, lurking down there in Orly.
Oh, and remember that mysterious underwater sound we talked about?
Yeah.
Maybe that was Cthulhu giving us a little hello.
Maybe. It's possible.
I am officially creeped out now.
All right.
Never going near the ocean again.
But there's also Shub-Niggurath.
Oh, right. Shub-Niggurath.
Black goat of the woods with 1,000 young.
That's a mouthful.
Right. A truly terrifying figure associated with these really ancient primal forces.
Yeah.
The descriptions in this grimoire, by the way, are...
they're probably pretty intense.
Vivid and unsettling, to say the least.
Vivid and unsettling. Yeah, that tracks with anything Lovecraft related for sure. What about the other old ones? Are they all equally terrifying?
Let's just say they each have their own unique brand of cosmic horror, you know?
Okay.
There's the Haunter of the Dark.
Ooh, that one sounds creepy just by the name.
Right, a servitor of Nyarlathotep.
Okay.
Who dwells in darkness, obviously.
Of course, of course.
Then there's the not-to-be-named one.
Not-to-be-named one, yeah.
This mysterious entity whose true nature is shrouded in shadow.
So we're not even supposed to say its name. That sounds like asking for trouble.
You would think so, yeah.
And, of course, we can't forget Azathoth.
Right.
The blind sultan at the center of all chaos.
At the center of it all.
This sounds like the cosmic equivalent of, like, playing with fire.
Yeah, yeah. The author makes it really clear that these are not forces to be trifled with.
Yeah.
They are incredibly powerful and potentially very dangerous.
Right. Okay, so we've got this whole system of magic, these incredibly powerful entities, these rituals.
Yes.
But is there... like a safe way to do this?
I mean,
is there some cosmic safety manual or something?
Well, the book does offer some guidance.
Okay.
Apparently traditional banishing rituals.
Like salt over your shoulder, be gone.
Yeah, none of that's going to work.
Oh, right.
In fact, the book suggests that that could actually provoke them.
Provoke them.
Make them angry.
Oh. So what are you supposed to do then?
Well, the Grimoire introduces this thing called the Seal of the Invisible Old Ones.
The Seal of the Invisible Old Ones.
Yeah, it's a protective symbol that can supposedly keep these entities at bay.
Okay, so it's like a cosmic do not disturb sign.
Something like that, yeah.
But even with that, this whole thing still feels incredibly risky.
It is. It is. This magic, if it's even real, is a double-edged sword.
Okay.
There's potential for power and knowledge,
but
there's also potential for some really unimaginable danger.
So where do we go from here? We've got this system of magic, we've got these entities, we've got these warnings. What does it all mean?
That's the question, isn't it? This whole deep dive into Lovecraftian magic really forces us to confront the boundaries of our own reality, you know?
Right.
Are these just stories, or is there something more lurking just beyond our perception?
It's a mind-blowing thought.
It is.
This whole thing has me wondering. What if Lovecraft's cosmic horror wasn't fiction at all? What if it was a warning? And what if by reading his work, we've already started to open the doors to something ancient and terrifying?
That is a chilling thought.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
we need to take a break.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Yeah, we'll be back with more on this.
to explore this a little deeper.
Lovecraftian Magic Deep Dive.
Stay with us.
Here we are again in the dark side of the Necronomicon. As I said before, it's not obligatory for every Chaos Magic practitioner, but for those who use Necronomicon it's very important. Not because it's good or not because it's bad, but because it's both of them. The duality have a little space right here. So when you deal with Chaos Magic, it's very important you know about Necronomicon. So for those who follow Necronomicon, it's important to know the history around this book. This book may be a fiction. This book may be true. Maybe John Dee made this book long before H.P. Lovecraft. But it's not important as what you will reach with that content. So we follow this path. Here in
Chaos Magic Time.
Welcome back.
Okay, so let's just say for a second
Yeah.
that I am brave enough,
All right.
or maybe crazy enough,
Okay.
to actually want to dabble in this forbidden knowledge. Where do I even begin? Like, do I need to build some creepy altar in my basement?
Well, the Grimoire actually goes into quite a bit of detail.
Oh, really?
About setting up like a dedicated temple space.
Okay.
It really stresses having a place where you can
Work undisturbed?
Yeah, work undisturbed and really kind of build up that magical energy.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want, like, your roommate walking in
No.
while you're trying to contact Cthulhu.
Not ideal.
Not ideal. So what's actually involved in creating this temple space?
Well, you start with a pretty classic element of ceremonial magic.
Okay.
Creating a magical circle.
Okay, so just a regular old circle.
Not quite.
What's different about this one?
We're talking 9 feet in diameter.
Okay.
Drawn with kosher salt.
Kosher salt. Is that like the magical equivalent of ghost pepper, you know? Keep those unwanted entities away?
Something like that, yeah. So inside the circle, the magician creates what's called
What's it called?
a trinity of triangles.
Oh, a trinity of triangles.
It's a geometric representation of Yog-Sothoth,
the gatekeeper.
Yeah, the gateway to the old ones we talked about.
Always with the creepy geometry, these grimoires, right?
Right.
Is there a specific reason for using triangles?
Well, and in this case, the triangles are actually inverted.
Inverted.
Which adds a whole other layer of symbolism, you know? It's like they're drawing energy downward from some other dimension.
Okay, yeah. That's definitely giving me some ominous vibes.
Right.
So you get your salt circle, your spooky triangles. What else goes in this Lovecraftian ritual space?
Well, the Grimoire mentions placing certain tools within the triangular space.
Okay.
Like, for instance, a crystal ball.
Oh, for scrying.
For scrying, yeah.
Classic crystal ball gazing. I always wonder if those things actually work.
Yeah, who knows?
What else is there?
There's a sacrificial bowl.
Of course. Can't forget that.
Then there's incense.
Incense, like Nag Champa?
Not quite. Each old one has a specific blend of scents associated with it.
So, like, Cthulhu has his own signature scent.
You could say that.
Is it like old seaweed and brine? I'm oddly curious.
You know, the book doesn't get into specifics, unfortunately.
Okay.
But it does go into detail about how to create and consecrate.
The tools.
Yeah, the magician's tools. So that's the Wand of Nyarlathotep, the Goblet of Shub-Niggurath,
right,
and the Mirror of Azathoth.
So it's not just about, like, grabbing these things off the shelf at, like, your local occult shop.
No.
There's a whole process involved in making them magically potent.
Exactly. These tools are like the magician's Holy Trinity.
The Holy Trinity.
In this system, each one is crafted with very specific materials.
Okay.
And imbued with the power of the old ones.
And how's that done?
Through a series of rituals.
Okay, walk me through it. What kind of rituals are we talking about?
Well, the consecration rituals, they involve going to a very desolate place.
Okay.
Under the waxing crescent moon.
Spooky.
You draw a magical circle.
Right, of course, of course.
Okay.
Let me guess. Blood sacrifice.
Yeah, you got it.
Figures.
The book really stresses that the magician has to use their own blood as like a demonstration of self-sacrifice and devotion to the old ones.
So it's like a cosmic loyalty oath?
Yeah.
Sealed in blood?
Exactly.
Definitely not for the squeamish.
No, not at all.
Okay, so you've created your tools, you've set up your creepy temple.
Yeah.
What's next on the Lovecraftian to-do list?
Now we get to the initiation ritual for Nyarlathotep.
Right, the messenger.
The messenger. Remember, he's your guide to the other old ones.
Right. The cosmic middleman.
Exactly.
And you mentioned this initiation was...
Intense. Yeah.
Give me the details.
It's a 3-night ordeal.
3 nights?
3 nights. Each night involves a journey to a desolate place.
Okay.
Creation of a magical circle.
Uh-huh.
And, you guessed it, more blood offerings.
Sensing a theme here, yeah.
That's a pattern.
It's a pattern.
Yeah.
So this sounds pretty grueling.
It is.
What happens on that 3rd night.
Okay, so on the 3rd night,
yeah,
the magician calls upon Nyarlathotep with this, like, very powerful evocation.
Okay.
They basically ask to be shown the way through what they call the night side.
The night side.
And to learn the secrets of the old ones.
Okay, so I'm picturing, like, some swirling vortex opening up and Nyarlathotep just, like, stepping out in all his creepy glory.
Well, the Grimoire describes his presence as more like a feeling of smoke wrapping around the magician.
Oh, that's somehow even creepier.
Right.
It's like a test, right?
Yeah, a test of their will, their dedication to this whole path.
It's like that moment in a horror movie, you know, where
Yes.
the protagonist realizes they've gone too far.
Uh-huh.
But there's no turning back.
Exactly.
So from this point on, according to the book,
Yeah.
the magician is basically bound to Nyarlathotep,
Right.
who acts as their guide and intermediary
Exactly.
to the other old ones.
Yeah.
So you've gone through this initiation, you've survived.
You've made it.
How do you actually summon a specific old one?
Right.
Is there like a magical phone book with all their contact info?
Well, the Grimoire does provide these individual evocations
Evocation.
for each entity tailored to that old one's nature and domain.
So it's like a personalized summoning spell.
You could say that.
Like if I wanted to, I don't know, chat with Cthulhu,
Yeah.
I would use one evocation.
Right.
But if I wanted to connect with Shub-Niggurath,
Different evocation.
I'd need a whole different one.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's walk through an example.
Yeah.
Let's say a magician wants to contact Cthulhu, the master of dreams.
All right.
What's that evocation like?
Okay, so the magician would prepare their temple, as usual.
So the circle, the triangles, the tools?
All of it.
Okay.
And then they would recite Cthulhu's evocation.
Which is?
The Grimoire includes the full text, and it is pretty intense.
Okay, what does it say?
It calls upon Cthulhu from his watery tomb in Arlaia,
Okay.
asking him to, and I quote, embrace the dreamer
Embrace the dreamer.
and reveal his secrets.
That does sound pretty intense.
Yeah.
And so how would the magician actually receive communication from Cthulhu? Like, would he just like boom out from the shadows?
Well, the book suggests using a crystal ball or the Mirror of Azathoth
right.
to receive visions from Cthulhu.
Imagine peering into those depths and seeing,
Who knows what?
I don't even want to know.
Right.
It's like staring into the abyss.
Yeah.
Okay. And so each old one has its own
Unique evocation.
unique evocation and its own unique way of communicating.
Exactly.
What about like Shub-Niggurath?
Right.
How does that work?
So Shub-Niggurath being associated with forests and,
Primal force.
primal forces, right,
Okay.
has a totally different evocation
Okay.
that calls upon her from her riddled caverns beneath the earth.
Riddled caverns. That's lovely.
Yeah, and it asks for her blessing
Okay.
and the wisdom of bygone epochs.
Bygone epochs.
Easy.
So each evocation is tailored to that specific old one's
Domain.
domain and power.
Power, yeah.
What about the Hunter of the Dark?
Ooh, the Haunter of the Dark.
That one just sounds terrifying by the name.
Right. Well, the Grimoire actually warns
Oh, good.
that the Haunter can be especially dangerous
Why is that?
because it can feed on the magician's fear.
Oh, so not exactly a friendly chat over tea.
No, not quite.
Definitely not. So how do you even make contact with something that dwells in darkness?
Right. Well, the Grimoire recommends using something called a
What's it called?
shining trapezohedron.
A shining trapezohedron. We're getting into some really obscure magical objects now.
We are.
Okay, and what is this trapezohedron?
It's a piece of either obsidian or onyx,
Okay,
and it's used to scry for the Haunter.
to scry. And is this trapezohedron thing, is it specific to the Haunter?
It seems to be particularly associated with the Haunter. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably because of its connection to darkness and shadow.
Right, right.
There's another interesting detail here, though.
What's that?
The Haunter is a servitor of Nyarlathotep.
Right.
So you don't actually need to invoke Yog-Sotho.
Oh, so you're bypassing the gatekeeper?
Yeah.
And going straight to the source of darkness.
Yeah, you're taking a shortcut.
That seems risky.
It does, doesn't it? It's like taking a shortcut through a graveyard at night.
Oh, I like that analogy.
You might get where you're going faster.
Yeah.
But there is a much higher chance of running into something you don't want to see.
Very true. Very true. So even with all these rituals and tools and evocations and everything, there's still that element of danger.
Absolutely.
The unknown.
Yeah, the potential for power is there.
Yeah.
But so is the potential for things to go very, very wrong.
Right.
And remember, we've only scratched the surface of this grimoire.
Oh, there's more.
There's one entity we haven't even talked about yet.
Oh, no.
And it's a big one.
Okay. Who is it?
Azathoth.
Azathoth, the Blind Sultan.
At the center of all chaos.
Yeah. I have a feeling this is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
And probably even more terrifying.
Stay tuned.
We are and live here to enjoy life. Avoiding this means avoiding being ourselves. One of the ways people like to live is by learning more. And that's why I make these podcasts about books and about chaos magic. Here in Brazil, we are all educated to be cheap. That hurt education to be socially accepted, so I thought that the popular objection to chaos magic would be very intense. I was wrong. Here people are eager to learn and practice things that work for us Brazilians. It's not different outside of Brazil, but since English is not our native language, communication is a bit rigid. Anyway, I now make podcasts in English because just as many other people also liked them. I believe it is important to use these podcasts as a basis for at least Chaos Magic group to start discussions about them. However, I must point out that groups that are not practitioners of Chaos Magic will be very surprised when they practice these works that I recommended. And also I will recommend. Let's keep our hunger for learning strong here in Brazil or anywhere on the world. Hugs.
Welcome back, folks. We're wrapping up our deep dive into Lovecraftian magic.
Yep.
And we've talked about the tools,
The rituals,
the entities.
Uh-huh.
But there's this one entity we've kind of been tiptoeing around.
Yeah.
The one at the top of this cosmic pyramid scheme.
It's a big one.
Azathoth.
Azathoth. The Blind Sultan at the center of all chaos. Even saying the name kind of freaks me out.
I know, right? This is like the boss level.
Yeah.
Of Lovecraftian magic. This is the one you only contact if you're feeling really brave.
Or incredibly brave, or maybe...
They're just lost all sense of self-preservation.
Yeah, you've lost it. You've exhausted every other option. Even the other old ones haven't picked up the phone.
Right.
That's when magician might turn to Azathoth.
But we're talking about being so powerful.
So powerful.
So incomprehensible.
That contact with it
can
drive you mad.
Yeah. The risks here just seem...
Oh, they're huge.
Way bigger than any possible benefit.
Yeah, the Grimoire even warns that. Like, a lot of magicians just can't handle the sheer intensity of Azathoth's presence. I mean, the visions you might receive, especially through that mirror of Azathoth, could be just completely chaotic, nonsensical, maddening even.
That's like the ultimate horror movie jump scare.
Right.
But instead of just a quick moment of fear, you're just stuck with that terror.
You can't escape
that knowledge.
That incomprehensible knowledge. However, it's terrifying.
Yeah. It's a gamble.
A huge gamble.
With your sanity.
Yeah.
And the odds are not in your favor.
You're probably going to lose.
But it seems like there are some people out there who would risk it all.
I guess so.
Just for a glimpse into the mind of Azathoth.
The ultimate cosmic horror.
So how would a magician even, begin to approach a being like that? Is there a specific evocation?
There is.
For Azathoth?
Yeah, the Grimoire does have one.
Or do you just, shout into the void and hope for the best?
No, there is a specific one.
Okay.
But it's less of a command and more of a plea, a desperate attempt to get the attention of this, ultimate force of chaos.
It's like throwing a message in a bottle into a cosmic hurricane.
You got it.
And what kind of response?
You never know.
Can you even expect? Does Azathoth send you a postcard? Or is it something much more terrifying?
It's completely unpredictable. Some magicians claim to have these visions of like unimaginable cosmic horror.
Okay.
Others just experience a complete
a breakdown.
Yeah, breakdown of their senses.
Right.
And some,
they
just never come back the same.
It's like rolling the dice with your sanity.
Yeah.
With the odds very much not in your favor.
Right.
So you talked earlier about the seal of the invisible old ones, that protective symbol.
Yeah.
Is supposed to keep these entities at bay.
Right.
Would that even work against?
Against Azathoth?
Azathoth.
The Grimoire suggests it might offer,
some protection.
A little bit of protection.
But Azathoth is just
beyond all
boundaries.
Conventional boundaries.
Right.
Beyond our understanding of reality, even.
It's like trying to contain a supernova.
Yeah.
With a fire extinguisher. So we've gone from kosher salt circles to cosmic fire extinguishers.
Such a wild ride.
This Lovecraftian magic system is wild.
It really is.
But on a serious note, this all raises some really big questions.
It does.
We've explored the system of magic.
Yeah.
These incredibly powerful and terrifying entities.
Right.
But is this real?
That's the question.
Is it safe?
Yeah. Is any of this real?
I mean, the Grimoire doesn't really give us any answers.
No, not really.
It just presents this magic as
a double-edged sword.
A double-edged sword.
It's a path to power and knowledge for sure.
But one that's just full of danger.
Unimaginable danger.
Yeah. It's a reminder that delving into the unknown always comes at a price.
You could lose everything.
And ultimately, I think the decision of whether to believe, whether to practice,
to actually do this,
is up to each individual.
That's a personal choice.
This deep dive has really forced us to confront the limits of our own reality.
What is real? What isn't?
It's challenged our assumptions about what's possible.
Right.
About what might be out there.
Lurking in the shadows.
Just beyond our perception.
Beyond our understanding.
It's been a fascinating journey.
It has.
And honestly, a little terrifying.
A little bit.
But we've given you the information.
We laid it all out there.
We've given you the warnings.
Be careful.
Now it's up to you to decide what to do with it.
The choice is yours.
Tread carefully out there.
Seriously, be careful.
And maybe keep that seal of the invisible old ones handy.
Yeah, just in case.
Thanks for joining us on this
wild ride.
Descent into the depths of Lovecraftian magic.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
And until next time, keep exploring.
Keep those questions coming.
Keep questioning.
Yeah.
But maybe leave the summoning of cosmic entities to the experts.
Or the completely insane.
See you next time.
Call our names, summoning the ancient ones, igniting flame. Comes forth a rise from the chaos below. Through the stars and the seas, let the darkness grow. You're chopped off, not love the depth. Hear the cry. Cthulhu awakens as the old worlds collide. Craft your sigils, carve the runes of the deep. Invoke their power, let the heavens weep.